All right, good afternoon and good morning to those of you in Central Time. My name is Ryan with Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. I got a little bit of an update for you guys to go over regarding the upcoming pattern, what we're kind of expecting, so on and so forth. We do have a couple of risk areas to talk about from the SPC. Go ahead and dive right in. So first and foremost, Saturday is a day. It's a low threat we're looking for. Not too big of a concern with this. Mostly going to be damaging winds, large hail. Once again, for pretty much the entire state of Illinois there, unless you're in the very far eastern central portions of the state there. That risk is basically only for Illinois. And then surrounding that, a general thunderstorm risk there for Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. So just some general storms and maybe a stronger storm or two. If you live out there in Illinois, that's going to be your primary concern there for Saturday. Okay. Damaging winds, large hail, only threats, not concern for tornadoes. We turn attention to the early part of next week here, Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe in particular. Looking for a couple of things to come together here, but before we dive into deep here, we're going to look at the SPC guidance here. We do have a slight risk, which is level 2 out of 5 on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the worst, 1 being the least. This is a level 2. Okay, this is a day 5 risk, which we don't get too often here in our areas. It's not uncommon, but it's not it's not very common, so to speak. That extends for the entire state of Illinois into western Indiana, brushing parts of extreme south Wisconsin, and then also parts of extreme southwest Michigan there. The SPC, in their wording this morning, did suggest that expansions would be likely if we have more confidence in moisture returns further east and further north there. So this is likely going to shift, expand, perhaps increase in severity here and probability, should I say. It's all a possibility on the table here. But right now, this is going to be for the Tuesday time frame. We're watching that very closely here. Highest risk right now is in the yellow areas. So all of Illinois, West Indiana, South Wisconsin, and then perhaps Southwest Michigan there as well. Should be on alert there. And then next day, day 6 time frame, Wednesday is a day we're watching as well. The SPC does not have a risk in our vicinity, or in our, should I say, region or coverage area. It does exist just off to our south and west there, brushing into Missouri, almost towards St. Louis there, but currently no risk there. But also they mentioned the expansion would be likely, again, if certain things can come together here. So Tuesday, Wednesday, still we're looking for those expansions. We're looking at those particular risks to develop here. Overall, those are the 2 days we're going to be watching very closely. I've been watching or rewatching this for almost a week now. Is still showing signs here of the potential activity. So diving into some models here, we look at just a general vicinity or general couple of products here. We overlap wind shear with instability, which are 2 ingredients we need to get severe weather to occur. Doesn't guarantee severe weather, but it does give us an idea of where the best probability may be. So looking at the run here of the GFS model for Tuesday, this model here is showing the still best environment off here to the south and also to our west here, but there is a pretty good environment here across southern Indiana by the Ohio River here into southern Illinois. This is just one model, though. We look at a combination of 20 models that are mixed together basically to get one general consensus. This is what it looks like. For the Tuesday time frame, this is what that model is showing. So again, the brighter colors, the yellows, oranges, reds, and whites are more so your higher probabilities there. And we see the highest probability still off to the south here. So central Indiana, central Ohio, central and southern Illinois there, all the way down into Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, parts of southeast Missouri, but also Michigan and Wisconsin, just barely getting in on the probability there on Tuesday. Confidence is not very high the further north you go, which is also why that risk is not for further north. But if we have more confidence in that moisture instability overlap kind of pushing further north, that risk will likely be expanded into, let's say, Michigan and Wisconsin. But right now, it's just not the case. This is for Tuesday. Looking back into the Wednesday time frame, a similar story here. It does have a pretty good environment stretching all the way up to the Michigan border, Wisconsin border there as well. But most all of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois getting in on that better environment there according to this model. So we still have some time for it to materialize, for there to be more confidence and increase in our confidence, stuff like that. So it's not set in stone yet, but still watching the general areas here: central Indiana, central Illinois, primarily for the most part. And then as you get further north and further east into like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio, right now the confidence in anything affecting those areas is lower for right now. So stay tuned to the forecast. We'll be going live again tomorrow to cover updates. These updates, outlooks from the SPC will update every overnight, roughly 3 a.m. or so. So we'll be watching those closely and just make sure you're aware coming into that Tuesday, Wednesday period that there could be some severe weather in the general vicinity, if not for your area here. With that being said, again, looking back, you don't want to forget the risk here for Saturday, for Illinois there for tomorrow, really. And again, damaging winds and large hail is really the only concerns for tomorrow. But we could see a general thunderstorm anywhere within this lighter green area that's outside the dark green severe risk area. So keep that in mind through the day tomorrow. It's a low shot at one. Any questions, guys? Still not getting specific, Jeannie. Vincent's would technically be in the area, or actually in the risk area, for the Tuesday period. So right now, Tuesday is the highest concern for you. As far as hazards go, they are mentioning the possibility of all hazards, that being large hail, damaging winds, and a couple tornadoes being possible. So that's their thinking. We're still 4 or 5 days out, so things are going to change. Exact areas are going to change. So don't take everything to heart yet. We really get specific after the day 3 time frame into the day 2 time frame. So the day before and 2 days out, that's when we can get really specific here, usually with areas and stuff like that. So just kind of pay attention. It's a risk, but don't get too specific with hazards and timing and all that just yet. It's a possibility, John. Right now, the confidence in instability and moisture, ingredients, that type of stuff, it's more so. Excuse me. It's more higher confidence further to the south of Michigan. So, while Michigan, Berrien County, there is technically brushing into that threat. I do mention expansion north and east is possible. Right now, that we're seeing better ingredients overlap to the south of Michigan. Not for a while, Eric. Not for a while, unfortunately. It really does, Julie. It does kind of feel good to be outside in the humidity. Just my opinion. It's not overly hot. It's cool, which, humidity when it's cool is honestly, it can kind of feel refreshing at times. But of course, I'm kind of biased just because my nasal passages are primarily dry. So being in a wetter environment is actually pretty good for me. I don't like hot and humid though. I can stand the cool and humid, but not hot and humid. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, I see some of you guys still asking here from Michigan. I see Southwest Calhoun County Tuesday for Michigan. Just overall, Michigan would be, I think, more so a concern on Tuesday now over Wednesday. It's still a possibility for both days, but currently there's really no risk in the area, or in Michigan, should I say. The concern there is with moisture content being that far north. Going back to the model here, kind of overlapping everything here, we see some probability creeping up into Michigan, but nothing like we're seeing a signal for further to the south here. So that's why that risk is not extending further north into Michigan. It could change with time, but right now the highest confidence is to the south of Michigan. Northwest Indiana would be in the severe risk area for Tuesday. So stay tuned for future updates. We're still not getting too specific here, but the SPC has designated Northwest Indiana into that slight risk, which is level 2 out of 5, that general area. No problem, Roberta. All right. So With that being said, we'll have updates here roughly right around noon, 1 o'clock here every single day leading up to Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, severe risk for tomorrow for most all of Illinois there. Damaging winds, large hail, low threat of that, not overly concerned for it. It's level 1 out of 5, so the lowest risk you can have. More so concern comes next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. We do have a couple severe risks here, or one severe risk for the area on Tuesday, potentially one for Wednesday as well. Currently, confidence is higher off to the south and west for Wednesday. That could shift north, though. We'll have to wait and see what they do and how everything plays out. We're still 4 or 5 days away. Allow it to develop, allow time for this, to allow for the models to go through their motions here and get a good feel for what's going to happen. So we can get specific here. I think more so, what is today? Friday. I think by Sunday evening, Monday morning, or really Sunday afternoon, really we have a good idea of what to expect there. Sunday evening, especially. But for right now, it's just risk areas we're going to highlight from the SPC, and we'll go in depth as we get closer. So with that being said, we'll have updates for you tomorrow, roughly the same time, right around 12 noon, maybe 1 o'clock Eastern, and we'll go off from there. So with that being said, you guys have a wonderful day and enjoy a little bit cooler temperature that we have in the region here today.